Hello, welcome to the Green Room. So during this afternoon, we will be meeting some of the speakers and the team that helped put everything together. I'm really excited, if the technology works, to bring back in Nick Elston, and Asger Lindholdt. So wait for the guys to come in. There you are. Hi guys, how are we?
Hey Taylor.
All right, how's everything going? All cameras all good?
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Good. Right, well, thanks for joining me. And what I'm going to do is just ask some questions to both of you in a little bit of an order here. So I'll start with Nick. It's your second year supporting the International Speaker and Influencer Program, Nick. So
Yeah.
What made you want to get involved and what keeps bringing you back?
Well, Adam's one of a few guys that's bigger than me. No, I was just joking. For me, it's kind of, I love the work I actually saw from Nextgen looking in and the work you're doing through Propulsion, that all this work going on actually, which is changing the face of what is traditionally one of the last bastions of traditional business in that sense, and the way that it was starting to really kind of break down that conditioning and having these kind of really kind of open spaces where people can deliver messages. For me, that just really resonated. And and as you've heard from the past two talks I've heard from Christian and John, really making us feel what they're saying and bringing a very human angle to what has not always been a very human-led space.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. And Asger, over to you. So you've been helping our speakers develop their skills over the last few months. What have you enjoyed most about being involved?
I think meeting a lot of great people, and what I really enjoyed as well is you can see people put in the effort, and people are generally there to support each other in a positive way. So really just the whole community, also connecting with Nick, Adam, Dominic, the other trainers, but overall just a great community. I've enjoyed that a lot.
Great. Sounds great. So, Nick, I mean, what would you say over the 2 years has changed the most since you've been involved? What have you seen that's changed?
I think it's interesting that obviously the past 2 years, to the backdrop of kind of big global events and the pandemic and everything else, it just seems to have been one of the silver linings, should we say, because actually what it's done, it's kind of sped up or even amplified our voices to be heard in a very different way. It's given us a different platform to speak. And what I found is that there's more humanity and more storytelling coming through in the messages. So we're not really focusing on what we do. We're focusing on the value we bring to people. We're focusing on actually why should people have that trust in us and the rapport with us. And essentially people are now immediately striving to reach that commonality and community, which drives all of us. And that's now that's just running through the whole culture of the organizations that leads into the program, of course. So people are actually a really good starting point before they even begin.
And I'll ask you both a question here, so whoever wants to kick off. In terms of sort of working alongside other coaches and coaching, how have you found it in terms of blending your content together? Who wants to start? Nick?
Should I go at it?
Yeah,
okay. I've really enjoyed it. I think that it's rare. You just need one coach to get all the answers. And of course, Adam's been great at organizing it so that we wouldn't have like a lot of overlap. I've seen Dominic's session. I still need to see yours, Nick. I'm looking forward to that. But of course, there's a little bit of overlap, but most messages it doesn't hurt hearing it 2 or 3 times. Most of the advice I get, I need to hear it more than 2 or 3 times before I start taking action on it. And so if anybody's just a little bit like me, it doesn't hurt getting a good message several times. So I've just enjoyed it. And I think we help each other and make each other better. So
sounds lovely. Anything you want to add, Nick, to that?
Yeah, and actually very much on the same lines. It's been great to meet Asger and learn more about what he does, having conversations away from here as well. And I think because the work that I do comes from my background in the mental health space, it just takes a very complementary angle to the great work that Asger and Dominic both do in that space. So it's having a different angle. And I think as people have been through the sessions will know, it's all about owning your niche and communicating that niche to people. And so actually it becomes like a big jigsaw. So hopefully what we've put together is a complete offering that you won't find anywhere else.
Perfect. And Asger, just over to you. I mean, what tips would you give in terms of the speakers from this cohort and the other 2 cohorts to continue to develop their skills? What tips would you give?
Yeah, I think really it's about falling in love with your topic, falling in love with the people. that you are serving. This is the foundation to become a great speaker. So really just connecting more with your passion, connecting more with the people. And from there on, your hands will do everything it needs to do. You will speak from the heart. And we just had a great talk where there were stories in there. You could feel that passion. So really just stay in touch with yourself, and then the message will resonate with more people. And I think this is a skill that's not learned in a day or two. It's a lifelong learning. But yeah, that would probably be my best advice, I think.
Fab. Thank you. And go on, Nick, did you have anything to add to that? Do you want to add anything to that? Or
I think Asger summed it up perfectly, to be honest.
It was quite good, but I thought I'd give you the opportunity.
No, that's fine.
And Nick, over to you, Nick. You've had a big year yourself with the launch of some new programs. So can you just give me an overview, tell me a little bit more about them?
Yeah, huge. So, I mean, even last week in the UK was Mental Health Awareness Week. I did 18 engagements in 5 days, both in person and virtual. And yeah, it was flat out. So I think as a professional speaker myself, being out there doing this every day, I think I can kind of see the challenges that people have when they come into that space. So I launched a quarterly Find Your Voice event that I run here in Bristol, which I've invited Asger to be a guest speaker as well at some point too. And that's been a real flagship event for me. It's the only public event that I do. And as a speaker, which is the mainstay of what I do, actually as a professional speaker myself, is lots of events even now being booked into 2023. So some really exciting stuff, and the world is opening back up again, so it's not just confined to the UK anymore.
Great. Okay, and just finally, you touched on it a little bit there for yourself, Nick, and maybe we'll jump to Asger on this one. Just exciting things that you've got coming up for the rest of the year, things we should know about. Asger, over to you.
Yeah, exciting things for me. I'm just continuing to build my flagship. I have my program where I teach people how to become better speakers, but also going more and more into how you can sell it through webinars. So yeah, I'm excited about trying to help more people not just become great speakers, but also learn how to sell their message and make it easy, so you can quickly get out there instead of waiting years or thinking you have to have done a number of talks. So this is exciting for me to help people also charge money for their services and speaking gigs, and not just become a great speaker.
Yeah. And is there anything, Nick, that you've got, aside from things that you've already covered, anything extra that you want to say that's coming up, or things that
I mean, it takes you, as people will know that have been through the sessions, that what I love about speaking generally is the opportunities that it opens up. And my take, and as I said, Asger's take in terms of helping people go pro and stuff is amazing, because that's not really what I do. I work on the transformational side of bringing people through an adversity using speaking. And with that in mind, I'm being brought into the prison system agenda for next year to help prisoners as a reform tool using public speaking as a way back.
Fab. And thank you so much. And the final question, just so that we're on track for time, I'll bring us to a close here. We've got 16 speakers coming up this afternoon. So I'd just like to ask you both very quickly, what advice would you give to those speakers? We'll start with Asger first in preparing to deliver their talks today.
So I think the first thing they should do is enjoy the talk. They've put in so much work. And for years, I struggled to enjoy the thing I really love. So enjoy it and trust your instinct. They have practiced so much, they've honed in their message. So enjoy and trust your instinct that the words will come. And if you miss a thing or two, it's not the end of the world. That would be my final advice before a talk. Yeah.
That's your little tip. Okay, Nick, your one, finally, to finish us off.
For me, I just think always start with the middle range of your pace, tone and volume, so that you can start to express emotion throughout that talk, so you can go everywhere with that. Don't start too quiet, don't start too loud, somewhere in the middle. And again, don't be afraid of injecting kind of your personality, even your vulnerability into your messages, because that's what humans connect with, is community, commonality, and the more that you show of yourself, the more you'll get back.
Love it. Well, thank you both so much for joining me in the Green Room chat. I'll be back later on chatting to more of our amazing speakers and some of our guests, but for now, we're going to throw it back to Dan and Rohan.